Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I received a letter not long ago from a constituent, Jim from Dallas County. And the first three words were, "I need help." And in the letter, talks about his grandson, Joshua. Was a good kid, and Jim became his guardian at age 6. But he took a bad turn at age 16, because at age 16, he started using opioids. His life's never been the same. And Jim writes that first, his grandson started out with pills, and then later street drugs, and ended up on heroin. No surprise here, Mr. Chairman. His usage escalated, and he ended up dropping out of school in the last semester of high school. Along the way, he found a menial job here, a menial job there, but he couldn't hold one down because of the drug usage. Jim tried to help him every way he could. And he said in the summer of 2014, his opioid usage brought him almost to death. And I won't say the story has a happy ending, but at least he is now trying to turn his life around. He's off of opioids, and he is on other medications, methadone, Xanax. He's actually gone back and gotten his high school diploma. He's learned how to operate a forklift, but because of the damage that has been done, he can't hold down a job. His drug costs are expensive. And he still needs help. So, Mr. Chairman, you know what's unusual about this story? Regrettably, nothing. Nothing is unusual about this story. And again, although it doesn't have a happy end, and we don't know how this story is going to end, at least it doesn't have a tragic end. Because far too many stories like it end in the tragedy of death. And my guess is, Mr. Chairman, every single member of this body could read a similar letter as I read from Jim from Dallas. I've been in this House now for 8 terms. Rarely does a week go by that somebody doesn't use the term crisis. And most of the time, I don't give it much stock. But, Mr. Chairman, when somebody says there is a crisis of opioid use in America, I could not agree more. How negligent this body would be if we didn't declare war on this crisis and do what is right and what is smart to address this crisis. So today, out of the House Financial Services Committee, we're bringing up a bill by the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Barr, member of our leadership team. I want to thank him for his leadership because I know how heartfelt the pain he knows from his district is. And what the gentleman from Kentucky is bringing before us is that we have seen evidence that transitional housing can be a proven method to really help thousands and thousands of Americans like Joshua that I described. Americans, to help them maintain their sobriety after completing rehab. And as they're gaining skills and training and trying to get back into being independent, productive members of society. And so the gentleman from Kentucky says, you know what? It is time for a demonstration project because we have some evidence. We have evidence already. And out of the 2.2 million Section 8 housing vouchers, the government's largest means-tested housing assistance program, let's take less than 1% of them, in fact, 0.5% of them, and on a temporary basis, let's allocate some of these section housing vouchers to people who are literally dying of opioid addiction every day and need transitional housing options in a recovery evidence-based program. I really think, Mr. Chairman, it's the least we can do today. I'm sorry that this is not on the House's suspension calendar. Demonstration programs are done every single day. Again, I would hope that this is something that we could join overwhelmingly on both sides of the aisle to do. Apparently that is not the case, but I don't think this House will be deterred. I do not think this House will be deterred. And I think very soon, people like Joshua who are getting their life turned around can at least have transitional housing options to support their recovery. And when they do, we will thank the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Barr, and I reserve the balance.